Hi, this is Dan Maher. Welcome to Math098. I'm going to go through a few things pretty quickly and just to get an overview of the course and hopefully get you on the right track on using the My Math Labs if you haven't used that before. The first thing we should look at is the syllabus. If get that up on my screen here. And this is also should have been emailed to you as an attachment, but I can go through some quickly here. Here's your course number. My office hours this quarter will be 8:15 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday in Wenatchee Hall, room 2214 up on the second floor. Here's my cell number you can call. If you're having a problem, we can make an appointment to get together if those times don't work for you. Also, here's a text. You'll need an online access code to get into the My Math Labs platform, which is required. We're going to go through, I do want you to use, go back to calculators here. I do want you to use a TI, Texas Instrument 30 calculator or equivalent. Basically have a calculator that doesn't have graphing function or programmability, so you can't program in formulas and stuff. So I recommend you get that right away and get used to using one of those, because you will have to use those on the proctored test. And I'll talk about proctoring a little bit more later. Here's what the main things we're going to go through this quarter is operations on power, scientific notation, a lot of stuff on polynomials, and then using rational or fractional expressions. And I'll talk about that in the review portion of Math 93. It's very important to get the concepts around fractions or rational things. That's what ratio means, fraction. And we'll work with operations around that, and then the last part we'll go through some linear systems to be able to solve that. Here's the grading technique as far as letter grades are translated. You'll see in your My Math Lab platform a pretty good estimation of what your grade's going to be all through the quarter. So I'll show you where to check that. And so this is the grid that I put letter grades on. The My Math Lab is required. Here's how you get into this. Do not wait for financial aid to access this online tool. You can go in and get a temporary access code that you can pay for later, or if you buy one through another source, you can apply that code to it and then continue to work. So do not wait for financial aid. You'll get too far behind and you'll have probably a lot of difficulty in this class. And here's the last day to drop this class. Now homework, I say the goal is it should be to get 100% on all your homework, and I'll tell you why. Because of the process of going through homework is you can make as many attempts at each question that you want. You can get all kinds of help that I'll go through. So, and the key is, and this is a concept that hopefully you adopt right away, it doesn't do much good to do practicing these issues or these concepts and doing it wrong. We need to find out what you're doing wrong, try to fix that so you're not practicing wrong techniques over and over. It's not if you equated that to basketball, it'd be kind of like learning to do layups wrong all the time. Or you think, hey, this is easy shots and all that kind of stuff. So when you're messing around in practice, you keep on like slamming the ball really hard against the backboard. Under pressure, like a test, you're probably going to revert back to the thing that doesn't work very well. So don't practice that way. We want to make the shots every time. And so that's what that's about. Now, incomplete assignments are, I'll put in zeros for all incompletes after we test on the chapter. But all the homework, even the ones that I put zeros on for incomplete, you can go back and improve the score. So if you miss a due date in the homework, you can still go back and fix that or continue to work on it if you're past due date. Now, it'd be better to finish each assignment in order, because usually you need to know what was in the last assignment to understand the next assignment. But it's a soft due date in a sense. And the homework represents 10% of your quarter grade. So it's not a big part of your grade, but it is a big part of your grade, because if you don't do your homework, I've never seen anybody pass this class. But that's how it fits into the quarter grade. The quizzes right here are given during scheduled dates. So the quizzes will open up on a certain day and have a due date. They need to be done in that time frame. And what I do with quizzes is they're like pre-tests. They're a preparation for that chapter test, which is a bigger part of your grade. And you'll get usually up to 3 attempts at this quiz, and you can do it 3 times. And so what I recommend is this would be a good way to practice and find out where you are at before you take the chapter test. So the first attempt, I would take this quiz just like you would a chapter test, which is in the chapter test, all I allow in for materials is a TI 30 equivalent calculator and blank scratch paper. So do that first quiz that way. Just don't use any other resources. Go through the quiz. It'll take you about probably 40 minutes, and hit submit. It's going to give you a grade. Now, maybe the grade won't be that good. Now you have an opportunity to go back to all the questions that you got incorrect and look at those, and then I would take some time, go back to your book and other materials that you might want to use, and find out what you're doing wrong on those questions. So in other words, fix the problems, because it's very easy when you're doing homework. You always have all these resources there. You might have somebody that you're working with, those kinds of things, and you don't realize how much help you're getting. There might be 1 or 2 things that you're always needing help with. So when those things are taken away, you could go from like, I get 90% of this, then go into a test and get a 50% because of those certain issues. So we want to catch those in that quiz process. And then the next attempt at the quiz, I would again take this, now I've hopefully fixed the problems I had before. Take the quiz like a test with no other material, do that, and see how you're doing. Now that last attempt, and it'll tell you how many attempts you have left as you're taking this. That last attempt, it affects your grade, so I would say last attempt, get out your book, get out all the materials you need, try to really get a good score on that. So if you're sitting like at 80% on your second quiz, I would shoot for 100% on that third one, and fix that. Now, the method would be, hey, I got 80%. Let's look at the 20% I didn't get correct. Maybe I can fix that, and I'll make it faster for the next time around, too, or easier. Now, the chapter tests are proctored, and what that means is they'll be under the supervision of a teacher, me if you're in Wenatchee, and or an assigned proctor, and I'll need to approve all proctoring. In the Wenatchee campus, I'll usually have 2 sessions for every test, 1 at night and then 1 in the midday. So if you have work you have to schedule around, you should be able to do that. OMAC has a testing center. You just need to make an appointment to get that test done. Now, if you're not close to Wenatchee campus or OMAC campus, there is a possibility that you can use a librarian if there's a public regional library in your town. I can talk to the library, or you can check with the library and see if they do proctoring services. If they do, there's a pretty good chance I'll approve that, and you can then go into a computer in the library and take the test. If you have any disability support services needed, there's stuff available on campus. Look for that. You can get help with that. And then if there's any special needs you have for this course, we'll work that out. You can get additional help I have my office hours and my phone number. You can get hold of me. There is a tutor center in the Wenatchee campus in the library. They usually have tutors up there that are very familiar with this platform and very familiar with this course. So they're a good resource. I recommend, it's a little bit harder in an online situation, but if you have some other people, if you want to get to know or reach out to get together and work on some stuff, that's really a good way to do that. And then I recommend, like Khan Academy, you'll get a different voice to this material presented, usually in the correct way, in the same way the book is. But sometimes it helps to get a different book, and there's hundreds of websites out there that help with this type of algebra. And if you consistently do hard work at this course, I believe you can succeed. It's my goal to help you do that. And then kind of anything in this syllabus I might need to change. But most of the Math098 course, this online course, is all set out. I have a schedule of when things are going to be. So it's probably not going to change. And that's what we'll look at next here. Let's look at the schedule. And you should have got this in email too. Here's all the assignments. Here's the grading category. So I talked about homework and then quizzes and tests. Those are only there to show you that these tests are worth 60%, quizzes are worth 30%, and homework is worth 10% of your quarter grade. We're going to